Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Elevating Your Life. Oh my gosh, we are going to be so elevated today. I have been counting the days to interview my amazing guest and share him with you today. I'm so excited. Today we have with us Alex Urbina. He is a shamanic practitioner, energy alchemist, transformative spiritual healer, author, and speaker. Alex has 3 decades of dedication to serving humanity. He has emerged as a powerful healer, renowned for his ability to empower individuals to lead happy, healthy, and purpose-driven lives. As a committed light worker, Alex has developed advanced spiritual gifts and tools that allow him to guide others on their healing journeys. The essence of Alex's success lies in the truth that he is the medicine. His authentic compassion and loving presence resonates at a frequency that empowers others to heal themselves. Through his unique ability to alchemize energy, Alex transforms negative energies into positive power, lifting the heavy burdens that cause emotional, psychological, and physical distress. The process restores balance to the mind, body, and spirit. He is based in Santa Clarita, California. He lives with his wife of 32 years, Yvette, with whom he shares 3 adult children and a beloved grandson. Inspired by his family, Alex continues his mission of service, co-owning the Healing Studio in California, where he offers his profound energy medicine to all in need. Oh, first off, Alex, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for all you do for others.
I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it's just wonderful to have you here. Well, myself being loving energy and Reiki and shamanism, I'm so excited to have you share with us. Why don't we begin with basically, what you do, unlocking the power of energy healing. Tell us about that.
So, one of the gifts that I have is the ability to focus on energy inside of the energy body of anyone who comes to me for support. And I can scan their energy body to find out any lower vibrational frequencies that are not serving of their highest good. And once I've identified those lower frequencies, I can transmute those lower vibrational frequencies and then transform them back to love. So what I'm basically doing is I'm rebalancing the vibrational frequency of people's energy bodies. And when I do that, it takes a little bit of time, but the physical body starts to respond, and then people start to experience different types of healing, whether it's emotional, psychological, physical. The body is now capable of healing itself. When you believe and remember that your body is intelligent and it has its own ability to heal itself, then you just need to figure out how to put the energy body in the correct conditioning for the physical body to make those adjustments. So even though I call myself a healer, the healer is just a title to let people know what type of field I'm in, but I'm not necessarily the healer. I believe everybody is their own healer. So a lot of what I do is both empowering people to remember that they are their own healer and they can heal themselves. And then in partnership with me and my frequencies and my intention, collaboratively, we can cause healing for the person who seeks it out.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And would you say that the ability to bring ourselves from a low frequency level to a higher frequency, it's just amazing, and what a change it can be for us.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, what it seems to look like is when we were younger, the younger versions of ourselves either had some types of traumas or certain scenarios that came up in our life that we were very sensitive at those times and maybe not as courageous to be able to deal with those situations. So we might have suppressed emotions or wanting to ignore certain situations. And by ignoring and suppressing, we basically push all of those lower vibrational frequencies that need to come up and out. We don't address them, so they get stuffed in somewhere in our energy body. But by virtue of ignoring it and suppressing it doesn't mean that it goes away. It actually just, it stores itself somewhere in the energy body. And then later, if you don't get a little further on down in your life, where you decide that you're courageous enough now to address those things, to unpack them, to make sense of them, to learn those lessons, and or to release it, if you don't address it at a certain point, they start to circle back around and start manifesting in some type of ailment, sickness, illness, and disease into the physical body, into the emotional body. And it just starts causing havoc because it's demanding for you to address it, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then surrender it and or release it. And when you don't, it's a very stubborn energy that is demanding for it to run its course naturally. And I think as we wake up and remember and become more conscious and aware, and as more of us talk about it and teach each other, that you have to be willing to decide to be courageous enough to deal with those issues that you've suppressed or ignored for such a long time. Otherwise, they're going to manifest in a negative way in the physical body.
Amazing. It's amazing. And so what would be a step? Let's say we have some things that we have hidden away, and really because we haven't thought about it in so long, we're hiding it. How do we kind of remember or get to that to address that and release it? What are some of the steps we need to take?
Well, normally, from my experience, what I found is that most human beings, once they get down that road of ignoring and suppressing, they've been doing it for such a long time that you don't just one day wake up and say, you know what, let me start looking and digging and probing to see if I have stuff in my energy body that needs to be released. 9 times out of 10, it seems like people have been ignoring it and suppressing it for such a long time that it starts to cause or manifest some type of suffering. And it's usually in the suffering state is when you start to reach out for a healer or a certain practitioner to come and help you. And then usually it's through that discovery of deciding that I don't want to suffer anymore, I need help. That's where that facilitator or that practitioner can help you start looking a little deeper, discovering what those things are, and then either help you unpack them, or in my case, it's either unpacking them, processing them, releasing them, and or transmuting them. So for me, my experience is that most people are so rigorously stubborn and they're just going to keep ignoring and pushing along and tolerating whatever suffering they're doing until they can't take it no more. So it's usually at that state where people are willing to say, okay, you know, I'm suffering for such a long time. What do I need to do? And then now that facilitator, that practitioner can start explaining the process. And then in partnership, they can start looking and discovering a little bit more. But to answer your question specifically, if somebody has decided that they're willing to look, it's just doing some deep reflection, some honesty, deep reflection, looking back and taking an account of what has happened to me in my life that I might have gone through some types of traumas, or I might have experienced some emotional pain. And at that time, I deemed myself not competent enough or powerful enough to be able to deal with it. And so at what point in my life could I have suppressed very strong, painful emotions and didn't want to deal with them? So it's just having a very courageous effort and an honest effort to do that. Looking and digging and probing to try to discover what it is that's trying to resurface and demanding for it to be acknowledged, learned, and then released.
And I can imagine what you've seen and felt with helping others to do this. You know, it's like they're just stepping out into the sunshine, isn't it? That can be just a huge thing for any of us to take those steps and experience that, I bet.
Well, there's definitely different stages that one goes through to start getting a little further on down that road of wellness. And so it can be something as simple as sitting out, like you said, in the sun, sitting on the earth, get some grounding, focus on their breath, do some breath work. So there's different stages that your higher self is trying to lead you down that road to be able to get further on down that road where you're able to release all of it, to clear out the energy body completely, so that you're in the flow, and that your energies are balanced, and that you're thriving in life, and we weren't meant to suffer. However, it's an option for those of us to be able to learn and decide for ourselves that we don't want to suffer anymore, and that we want to thrive.
Yes. And would you say that doing those little things like enjoying nature, breathing, maybe something like Reiki energy work, would that make a difference? Anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a variety of holistic wellness practices like yoga, breath work, Reiki, sound baths. We even have what's called harmonic eggs here at our center. We own 2 harmonic eggs for people to go in to use light and sound therapy to de-stress their nervous system, and to get a little further on down the road, to clear and release what I call layers of lower vibrational frequency. So I see it more as layers because I'm able to get down to the deeper layers. I'm looking at holistic medicine and practices as peeling off layers. So Reiki you might have a Reiki master that can pull out 3 layers of low vibrational frequencies. Someone else might be able to pull 7. The eggs, the sound baths, they might be able to pull off layers. But some of us have 12, 15, 20 layers deep of stuff that's more stubborn, that really needs a deep rooted, flushing out and a removal and a transmutation of, more darker, stubborn energies that they've been holding onto for such a long time.
Yes, yes. I just cherish the 25 years that I've been a Reiki master, and I love my crystal bowl. And I've always kind of looked at it as these kind of processes are like pulling weeds out of the garden, blockages that we have and weeds. And, there is a lot of amazing things we can do for ourselves, isn't there?
Absolutely. So for me, what I'm realizing is, for somebody that has been on this planet, let's say for 20, 30, or 40 years, and they didn't have a very, loving upbringing, or a safe upbringing, and they had some deep traumas that happened when they were young, when that stuff gets suppressed, you can 10, 15, 20 years from now, it can start to resurface. And Reikis and sound baths and those types of healing modalities are incredible tools that we all get to use to keep ourselves clean and clear. But if you have deep rooted stuff, then the Reikis and the sound baths and the harmonic eggs, as amazing as they are, they can't get down into the roots and pull those out. I see a lot of the traditional wellness practices, great tools for maintenance. But if you have no traumas and you've done some major clearing and cleaning, then all of these other healing practitioners and these services are great maintenance. It keeps you in the flow, it keeps you balanced. And so for me, it's just a matter of, depending on what kind of low vibrational frequencies and how deep are they and how stubborn are they, if you have them at all.
And so basically your unique gifts, Alex, are something that basically you can go to the root to help us and lift us up to that higher frequency. And
Well, I can go to the root and transmute it and transform it into love for the person. So, but it takes for that person to be open to the possibility that they have that stubborn negative energy in the first place. And then second, they have to be courageous enough and willing to decide that they're ready to address it and get past it. So it's a little bit of a process, but once I get that person aligned with that purpose, then collectively in a partnership, combined, we're able to clear out that energy body. And then within a few months or so, the physical body starts to vibrate at a higher frequency and clearing out a lot of the denser, darker energies that they've been carrying with them for 20, 30. So for some people, even 50 and 60 years.
That is just so fantastic. So fantastic. Alex, share with us a little bit about, what is mind, body, spirit balance and the importance of that. Share with the audience, please.
Yeah. So our mind, since we were born, we first received this beautiful gift called a mind, right? Or our brain. And we came in to this planet experience not really having much information in there. Slowly we started gathering information and we started creating beliefs. Some of those were empowering beliefs and some of those are limiting beliefs. The empowering beliefs, they're just there to support us and remind us of who we are and how powerful we are. But if we started creating limiting beliefs like I'm not enough, or I'm not important, or I don't matter, or anything negative, that mind creates a belief, and that belief becomes our truth. It becomes part of our interpretation of the world. It becomes part of our interpretation of reality. And so therefore we're creating our own reality based on limiting beliefs. So when you have limiting beliefs, it's very challenging for you to create a high vibrational frequency inside your energy body, because your limiting beliefs are creating low vibrational frequencies. So in essence, what's happening is through our own limiting beliefs and conditioning year after year, we're actually causing our own harm. We're causing and projecting our own low vibrational frequencies through those limiting beliefs and through those misinterpretations. And it doesn't leave us. It stays blocked in our energy body. And so if you have 30, 40, 50 years of limiting beliefs and traumas and, social conditionings, based on, where you lived, who you lived with, your parents' thinking and ideologies. And so you take all that into consideration, and there's a good possibility that you've been projecting your own low vibrational frequencies from your own thinking. And so when it starts to manifest in the physical body and you meet someone like me that can explain to you what's going on and then cause that awakening and that awareness, and then you have that first realization of, oh my God, I've caused all of my own suffering through these limiting beliefs that I was totally unaware of. When you have that instant awakening, now you start to realize, well, if that's the case, then I can actually change that. I can change that channel, that broadcast, radio station dial, and start creating more empowering beliefs. So then I can help clear out all those low vibrational frequencies from your energy body. And then now your energy body is clean. Now all you have to do is start a new practice of thinking positively and start creating new empowering beliefs to kind of take over the space that I cleared out of all the limiting beliefs.
I love that. I love that. Change the radio channel. Wow. I love that. A whole different mindset. And so would you say when we make that change and we start the mindset of positivity and this and it's, that it's just going to open up and just bring more of that as it raises our vibration?
It can. However, it can be challenging for some people, because you got to remember, if I have 30 years of conditioning or limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough, it's basically ingrained in my brain. So I might need a little support. I might need somebody to coach or mentor me or hold me accountable to the way that I'm thinking or the words that I'm using. It might take a little while, but for the most part, also in my coaching practice, when I help people it usually takes about 6 to 15 sessions or so working with me to help recalibrate their thinking and retraining them how to interpret their life in a more empowering way. It's usually a certain point where they start galloping. You go from, walking really slow on the horse, uneasy, unsure, and then we start trotting. And then once you're full galloping, then you've pretty much retrained your way of thinking and the way you interpret your life into a more empowering way. And then you're no longer creating those low vibrational frequencies in your energy body anymore. And then you start to turn a corner. And then from there, moving forward, you start evolving, becoming more conscious, more loving, more forgiving, right, to yourself and to others. And then you just raise your vibrational frequency. And when you have a energy body and a physical body that's vibrating at a high frequency, it's very challenging to attract low vibrational frequencies to you in that higher state.
Oh, wow. And that is so amazing what you're able to do in helping so many of us to accomplish that. So please share your website and how they can get a hold of you and start one of these wonderful processes with you.
So the starting point for me, in order for me to work with somebody, someone has to reach out to me. That's the starting point. But even before that point, you have to resonate with my frequency. So commonly what happens is either somebody hears me talking on the radio or a podcast or, at an event. And what happens is as you're hearing me talk, your knee will start shaking or some version of that. You start to feel like, I need to know more about what this guy's talking about. That's the starting point because my frequency is matching your frequency. Most of the time, my higher self and your higher self have a partnership, and people are being sent to me from their higher selves or their angels or their guides because they want and need for them to heal themselves or to get on a different path. So that's where it starts. It's a frequency. Then the next step is you're going to either go to my website, which is alexurbina.com, Urbina. That's usually the starting point. You get to my website, you kind of, do your little research, you read up about me and what I do. And if you get past that stage, then you're going to decide to reach out to me, whether it's an email, phone call, or you're just going to register for what the first stage is going to be an energy scan. So I'll do an energy scan on you. And then after the energy scan, we get on a Zoom call, and then I go over all the things that I found. And usually 98% of the time when I start to point out all these things, people start resonating, going, yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, that happened when I was 5. Yep, that happened when I was 22. And we start hitting these benchmarks that's validating that your higher self communicated my higher self to me to tell me what are some of the things that are stuck in your energy body, how they got there, and why they need to be cleared. From there, you decide whether you want me to clear you or not. If that's the case, I clear your energy body, and then I put you on a daily follow-up schedule for the next 5 to 10 days. And then I keep scanning you, clearing you, and raising your vibrational frequency and your life force as much as I can, so that when I finally release you, I know that I've given you 1,000%. And that's usually how that works.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And for those that are listening or watching that really aren't familiar with what our higher self is, explain that a moment for me.
That's going to be like
I
10
love
shows.
our higher self.
That's about 10 shows, but
yeah.
So we all have a higher version of ourselves. It's the grandiose spiritual us. It's us at the God frequency, at the all, right? And then when you're at that state, somehow you're everything. You're up, down, left, right, hot, cold. And so in order to experience yourself, you need to not be those things. So what we do is we choose to come to Earth and take on a human body in a world of relativity where there's up, down, left, right, hot, cold, love, fear, disease, sickness, health, and wellness. So we come into a human body to experience ourselves, to have experiences. So we believe we're born forgetting that we're spirit. We're forgetting that we're our higher self, and we believe we're the small self. we think we're a human. And then it's through our human journey that some of us at the perfect timing, we start to realize, oh, I'm not just my small self. There's a higher version of me that's guiding me along with my angels and my guides and my team. And they're guiding us along this process, communicating to us since the moment we took on our baby body. But if we're not paying attention and we're not listening because we're not tuned in, we just don't know that they're guiding us. And it's not until you have some type of conscious awakening or spiritual awakening and you start seeking that out, then you start to remember a little bit of time that it's not just me, this small self in this human body, that there's a higher version of me that's trying to remind me of who I am. I don't know if that helps you or not, but
that was wonderful. Yes, I love it. I love it.
All right.
Oh, we have just a couple minutes left in the show. Alex, what last words do you want to share with everybody today?
Yeah, the last words that I want to share is that you weren't necessarily born to suffer. And so you don't have to if you decide that you're done with that experience. However, suffering is part of the process because there's a lesson to learn in suffering. So if you're willing to learn the lesson wholeheartedly from your suffering, you can transcend the suffering and release it, let it go, transmute it, transform it back into love, and then you can get back on to whatever the next journey is for you. You don't have to stay stuck in suffering for the rest of this lifetime. You can at some point decide, hey, I'm done suffering. I'm willing to be courageous enough to try to figure out what that lesson is so I can transcend it and move beyond it. I just want people to know that, because I would hate for one person to go one more day thinking that is just something that they have to endure for the next 30, 40 years of this lifetime. You don't. It's just a matter of you deciding to flip that switch inside of you and say, you know what, maybe even if you're open, maybe if you don't fully believe, but if you're open, hey, maybe I don't have to suffer. Let me go a little further on down the road and discover what he's talking about. If you can do that and I can help inspire that, then I've done my job today on this, in this conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alex. Oh, this is so fantastic. My goodness. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. Check out Alex's information, alexurbina.com. This has been so great. Love, hugs, and blessings to everyone. Alex, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you for today.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.